very much. The picture's still rolling, so I've got about 10 seconds just to say one thing. This is basically the band or the small group that played on the film. We did it for quite a period of time, 12 to 18 months, and tried a bunch of things, and this is what ended up, a lot of it in the movie. It would be remiss of me not to thank two people in particular. First being bassist Michael Valerio, who was really the heartbeat of the movie, and in the kind of tense passages, a lot of them, you heard his magnificent work there. And George Deary, who played Robbie's guitar. And of course, everybody else on the stage deserves a round of applause as well, not forgetting that. We're going to finish our little set with the aptly named for this movie and happy song title of Insulin Train.
Thank you for that.
You're more than welcome.
That was a treat. I didn't know you were going to do Insulin Train.
You told me to.
Mark, you said you had a beautiful experience working with Robbie on this. How did you get involved? How did you get involved?
Well, I was introduced to him by a mutual acquaintance, and they decided that this was on a slightly bigger scope than just, a couple of guys in a room. They needed more depth to it, so I kind of came along and we met and we kind of worked out the band to play the stuff with and developed it from there.
You said you've learned a lot about creativity and bold choices from him. Can you give us some of those examples that you were thinking of when you wrote that?
Well, I think the thing with working with Robbie was very interesting because he had a vision of what he wanted to achieve. He might not necessarily have known how to exactly get there. And the thing I was always terrified of was delivering something ordinary. Because that was too ordinary. He didn't want that. So we kept working all the time, all of us, to try and present performances or options to him that were not ordinary. And I think mostly we managed to succeed with that.
Jared, obviously it's sad that Robbie isn't here with us to talk about this himself. He's worked with Martin Scorsese and I understand they're close friends for many years. But this one was a little bit different. Can you give us some of the context, some of the background in terms of what they were setting out to achieve?
Well, usually there isn't, this much score in any of these films that Robbie does. Usually, at the most it's been like 30%, 35% score. They do a lot of music that they put pre-recorded music in.
A lot of period music and yeah.
So this was a much bigger task, and I think we had to go down there. We met with the Osage. We had to really get into the culture, really make sure that we were honoring it. And
2 points there. Did Robbie know that going in? Obviously, he's pals with Martin. Did he know that this was going to be a bigger undertaking than some of his previous?
He did. It was a daunting, prospect.
Yeah.
And I had to do a little talking I had to talk him into it a little bit and make him believe, like, if Marty wants you to do this, it's because he knows that what you do is what he needs.
And
the thing is, like what Mark was saying, is that Marty does not want any movie music, so that's what Robbie would always say, is like, it can't be movie music.
With no offense to anybody here.
Yeah, it's just what Marty can, the way he likes to use music. He doesn't want it to be commenting on what he's doing. He wants it to somehow fit and illuminate something in his film without it being used as a tool to make you feel something or think something's going to happen or anything like that. So it has to play a very, a different role than what's usual.
how terrifying is that, Mark? This isn't movie music. Did you understand what that was meant by that?
I've spent my life in movie music, and this was a very interesting challenge to kind of get away from what you would normally do, like hit a cut, make it scene change, do it. We had to think in different terms, which I found very interesting.
Yeah. Robbie's obviously best known for the band. I heard him talk about wanting a swarm of guitars for this.
Got that.
Yeah. Talk through that process. What does that mean in practice?
What it meant in Robbie's head and what it meant in practice were two different things, but I think we ended up with something appropriate. We did some sessions with 6 guitarists, a couple of keyboards, cellos, lots of stringed instruments, which are very interesting. And from that, we decided what we liked and what we didn't like, and we kind of built on the stuff that we liked and we thought it will work.
I'll address that a little bit. Is that what Robbie had, even on his solo records, he had. I can even go back to the band. What he had was Garth Hudson, who was. Could do things that were, very, very unique. And then when he started making solo records, he found a guitar player named Bill Dillon who played a guitar, but you couldn't tell what it was. It doesn't sound like a guitar. So when he was talking about a swarm of guitars, he was really looking for guitars that you don't know what the sound. You don't know what's making that sound. And he loved finding, ways to make music where you weren't sure you didn't necessarily recognize it, but it worked, and
I hear Martin was a big fan of the harmonica in this. Is that true?
I think I did point that out. Yeah. It's just for me. He was using quite a lot of it, and there was a time when Robbie had said, like, let's, and I was saying, well, he's using, he likes it, we should do some more. And he was like, no, let's not give it anymore. He's using enough harmonica. So, but one of the other things that Marty came back to us with is when we first started sending him music was that he did think the slide guitar was another element that he thought could be thematic in the film as well, besides the harmonica. So both of those things played a big role.
Look, it's a beautiful score, so please give it up for Mark and Darren.